I call to order the February 10th, 2025 Henderson County Board of Public Education meeting. At this time, I will ask that we all rise for the West Henderson High School Army JROTC presentation of colors and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Motion to post colors.
Those colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you, and I ask that you please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Also want to thank the JROTC leadership, Major Stephen Hill and CW2 Mike Bailey. Thank you so much, and for our students. Okay, now's the time. First of all, we'd like to say we apologize for being a few minutes late coming back in to session. We have been in a work session since noon, and so we have been busy studying about the budget and other topics, and so we apologize for being late coming back in here. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay? Okay, agenda approved, and at this time, we are delighted to look at some staff and student recognitions.
Madam Chair, members of the board, and those present this evening, this is always a highlight to get to spotlight all the great things that are taking place in Henderson County Public Schools, and mainly our people and the things that our students and our colleagues on staff are doing. We're going to open up with a student from Bruce Drysdale Elementary. Mr. Joyce, come up and share the good news, please. And I'd like to remind everyone, this is a great time that we will let you get all the pictures that you want. So have your cameras ready, and then we'll take all the time we need. So, Mr. Joyce, Tessa, good to see you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Joyce, principal at Bruce Drysdale, and I have with me Miss Tessa Dowd. And Tessa wrote an essay about the Edenton Tea Party that occurred in North Carolina. And she won the local and the regional competition for the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I think what's really neat is this sweet child wrote an essay about 50 of the most rebellious ladies in North Carolina history. But this is Tessa. She is a fantastic kiddo. If you meet her parents, we've got John and Gina here, Mr. and Miss Dowd. They're awesome. We also have Miss Schaefer, who is her AIG teacher at the Bruce. And we are just in love with this kiddo and really proud of her and her accomplishments. So, Just wanted y'all to know that. Thank y'all very much.
So Tessa, one thing we like to do, we like to give a certificate. And then we also like to give you a coin that shows our logo and what we stand for on the back. So congratulations, we're super proud of you.
Let me hold it, sweetie.
And we'll just slide right over there and get some pictures. And this is a good time for mom and dad to come get some pictures and take a photo. Next, I'm going to call for Dr. John Shepherd to come up because North Henderson has a few runs of awards right here coming up. Thank you, Dr. Shepherd, for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett, and thank you, members of the board, for allowing us to be here. And always a great time to celebrate not just the North Henderson students, but all the students in Henderson County. We have a special one here tonight from North Henderson High School. I'd like to call down Miss Angela Navarro Valdez. Give her a round of applause. We're going to embarrass Angela here. Angela is a fantastic student. She truly models everything that we do at North Henderson High School and the North Henderson community to really instill a lot of values into all of our students. Angela was the Henderson County board selection and school system selection for the United States Presidential Scholarship. And she has made it further than Henderson County and is now the North Carolina nominee for the United States Presidential Scholarship. So let's give her a round of applause for that. So she's going to go on and compete at the national levels here and represent North Carolina. And she's a fantastic student, obviously, as evidenced by this. She's a great academically, truly rounded as a leader, leading herself and leading others. She's also a multi-sport athlete. You wouldn't look at her, and she's a heck of a ferocious wrestler. I saw her on Saturday, wrestling regionals. I don't want to wrestle her. Mr. Rhodes, you don't want to wrestle her? All right, I'm just telling you. She's a great athlete, great student, great leader, and we're certainly proud of her, a fantastic senior. Let's give her one more round of applause. Congratulations. For this achievement, I'm going to call for backup. I'm going to call Miss Michelle Miller down. She's one of the fantastic assistant principals at North Henderson High School. I think it's always great to celebrate our educators as well, and she's a great assistant principal and great leader at North. Let's give her a round of applause. You're probably saying, why am I calling for backup? Well, Miss Miller had the pleasure of having our next student in elementary school, in middle school, and now in high school. And I don't know of a lot of people who can say what Miss Miller can say when she walks our hallways all the time, that I had that student in third grade, and I had her in fifth grade, and then I had her in middle school, and now I have her as an administrator at the high school. 3 different levels, so no one knows our next student like Miss Miller, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you, Dr. Shepherd. Thank the board for having us here today and giving us the opportunity to recognize Ms. Setlali Diaz-Mar. Come on down, Setlali. As Dr. Shepherd said, I've had the opportunity to know Setlali for a very long time, and she truly embodies what this award that she received from our local Boys and Girls Club. She was the 2025 Youth of the Year, and she'll go on to compete at the next level there, and we are so proud of her. And this recognizes to them for their leadership and academic excellence, which she has all of those things. She is a true leader and started being a leader in elementary school at Sugarloaf Elementary. And she aspires to attend UNC Chapel Hill. She is a lead ambassador at our school and is very involved at our local elementary schools and within our community. And she truly embodies what it means to be a knight. And we're so proud of her.
This next one is a school award. So North Henderson High School was selected by the North Carolina Association of Supervision and Curriculum Development, which is a statewide organization that's part of a national organization, for a lighthouse, to be awarded as a lighthouse school. Now, this is not lighthouse school for the leadership stuff that Covey does through our program there. This is actually, in North Carolina, we like to use lighthouses for a lot of things, so that's what they call their award. So I've asked Dr. Shepard to share a little bit about how they earned this achievement, and also have some folks joining him here so that we can recognize them this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. It's a great question. I'm not sure how we earned this achievement. It's given to a school in North Carolina. I got the phone call. I was super excited to be notified that we earned this achievement through the North Carolina Association of Supervision and Curriculum Development. And it is awarded to schools that display academic excellence and innovative programs. And I think North Henderson High School, over many years, has done both of those things very well. And so we're certainly proud of really two groups of people at North that make a great school community, and I have a few of them here behind me. And that's first and foremost, we have fantastic students, which make that academic achievement so possible. Their hard work, and you can see what it embodies here in these two young ladies. And then those innovative programs, a wonderful staff of teachers and administrators, and parent representatives, and lots of stakeholders that work together each and every day to cultivate innovative programs so that we're doing everything we can to make sure that students are prepared for what we call the day after graduation, really that next level real world experiences. And so we're certainly proud of our staff and our students at North, and we were happy to receive this award from NCASCD. So thank you so much for your recognition.
We all know how much Dr. Marlowe loves to come talk, so we're going to give her the opportunity now because we want to honor our nationally board certified teachers. We have two groups this evening, one getting the initial certification, which is quite a task, and the other group who renewed their previous certifications, which is still quite a task. So Dr. Marlowe, share the good news.
I will say I'm not a huge fan of public speaking, but I love this part. So national boards is quite the process. If you are a new person who is taking on that task, it requires lots and lots of time. It's connected to everything you do in class, but it requires lots of outside time. I mean, hours and hours and hours. And I also want to just say too that in 2019, Henderson County was selected as a National Board Accomplished District because of the way that we support our teachers who are beginning the process and then continuing the process as they apply for recertification. It is monumental that they take this on with their regular teaching duties. And I love that they do that. We also, as a county, know how important it is to have support. So I do want to give a shout out to Lynn Carter. She is a retired Henderson County employee who helps continually to provide support for National Board teachers who not only are doing the maintenance of certificate, but the initial process. And then also Lori Riggs, one of our teachers, and Susan Oakman. They both help support the process, but they also read. They are certified readers. Yes, that's a thing. And they provide feedback for all these folks. So these teachers meet just about monthly online to ask questions, figure out what they need to do, and then they actually get together for work sessions. So I would like to celebrate two of our three. I believe Jody Searcy will not be with us this evening, but Caroline Galvin, I'd like to call you up to the front as one of our brand new National Board certified teachers. And while she is having her picture made, I want to also call up Jill Robb from Flat Rock Middle School as a brand new National Certified Teacher. So we had three brand new National Certified Teachers. We had 16 folks who recertified this year. That process is a little bit smaller, but it is still a big lift. And what makes an even bigger lift is that a lot of the teachers that you see up there, since they got their initial certification, they also take on other teacher leadership opportunities. So they are balancing that with trying to renew. So we have 5 of those folks with us tonight. I would like to call up Kara Lindsay from Hendersonville Elementary School. While she's having a picture made, I will call up Tracy Mumford from Apple Valley and North. She serves both. I would like to call up now our own Scott Cowan here at Central Office. He's been out teaching math classes so he could recertify. Next, I'm going to call up Nicole Riddle from Etowah Elementary School. And last but certainly not least with us this evening is Dana Wells from Hendersonville Elementary. All right, thank you.
I also appreciate the spouses and support systems that are here because I have been a reader for a certifying National Board teacher and a recertifying National Board teacher. I've also been the shoulder they cried on sometimes. So certainly thank you for your contributions as well, and thank you for joining us. So as you see, I always love the variety that we have here when we get to honor all the great things that are taking place month to month and day to day, hour by hour, minute by minute in Henderson County Public Schools. So thank you for the opportunity to honor these folks.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we are moving on to our program highlight. So this is where we're going to have Mrs. Kimball Airwood come up, and our Public Information Officer, and share with us information about kindergarten registration. You're going to fight over it.
Opens, and it opened on February 1st. So we are welcoming the next group of kindergartners to the HCPS family, and this is the class of 2038. So registration opened online, and it's one of our favorite time of year to just celebrate what it means to be a part of the HCPS family and also kindergarten as well. So getting the word out, once again this year, we have a billboard on Four Seasons. So just look for the colorful kindergartners smiling and waving, and that is our billboard. New this year are the yard signs. So we have those outside of all of our 13 elementary schools. We have them in English and Spanish. This is not only for our school families, but also a lot of our school campuses are high traffic areas. So just spread the word that way. We have a display in the Hendersonville Library for the month of February celebrating kindergarten in the registration. We have online campaigns on social media, Google ads. We've been distributing flyers to all of our media partners and also through Peach Jar. So just any way we can, we are spreading the word about kindergarten.
Upcoming events for the incoming kindergartners. We recently had inscripciones this past weekend at Grace Lutheran Church. Parents were grateful to have this opportunity to enroll their students and have translators there to help them with the translation process. Also, we had multiple community partners, some I see in our audience today, and thank you for that. Leaders from North Henderson High School and Sugarloaf Elementary were present, and you can see pictures of those students there that actually played with students and did puzzles and blocks and things like that, so parents could focus on enrollment. So we're grateful for them as well. Students left with their choice of a backpack, which you can see on the left side of the screen, and that's probably their favorite part, to put that backpack on and have wonderful brand new school supplies for the upcoming school year. And I would just like to take a moment and say that Evelyn Angeles Alarkin, who's on the bottom picture there, is a huge resource for us. She's our ESL family liaison, and I will say she comforts parents as they walk into that space and lets them know that we're going to take care of their kids. So we just really appreciate all that she does for us and for our students of Henderson County. So our kindergarten readiness rallies are quickly approaching. We have 13 because they're on site at those schools. These are listed on our website, but it's also given to parents when they enroll with us. So that is a reason why parents should enroll now with their kindergartners, because they start getting information and resources from their school and from their principal about what big and wonderful things are happening at the school level, including the kindergarten readiness rallies. At these rallies, they will receive a wonderful bag, and they also get to meet their principal and their teachers and other support staff and other kindergartners. So this is a great way to get resources and connect with other people and also see their brand new school and possibly get on a school bus, which is probably one of their favorite things as well. Another two upcoming events that I would greatly appreciate parents attending is our Q&A sessions. The first one's February the 17th at Etowah Library, and the second one is February the 25th at the main Hendersonville Library close to us here. This is a great way for people to be able to ask questions of their principals, teachers, counselors, and nurses. There are many common questions that they ask about: when is drop-off? When is pickup? Do our kids still get naps? How much is lunch? Things like that. Parents are very grateful for this opportunity, and it makes them feel very comforted that they can ask questions before sending their students to school. So they're very grateful for this Q&A session. Kindergarten readiness bags. As you can see, some of our community sponsors help put these together for us. Many of the volunteers include Smart Start, Children and Family Resource, WNC Source, Advent Health, our local library, multiple resources inside these bags that we give to students at the kindergarten rallies, and we teach them how to use these resources as well. They support cognitive, social and emotional, physical, language development, and it's a great resource to get our students started on the right path. And I will say currently our enrollment is 253, which is 23 above where we were last year. So thank you, Kimbrell, for doing such a great job on advertisement for our kindergartners. And so let's hear some information from the experts.
That's right. So we thought no better, Pause that for a minute. We thought no better person to tell you about kindergarten than the true experts. So we went to 13 of our favorite elementary schools and asked all the experts what their favorite thing is about kindergarten, what's their favorite food, what do they love about their teachers. And so we'll let y'all take a listen and hear from the experts.
My favorite part about kindergarten is learning about new stuff and doing new stuff. Even though that's hard, I can still do it. Thing is, in kindergarten is playing outside. Having lunch in school lunch at kindergarten. This is my second time. My friends and learning. I love specials and I also love smiles. My favorite thing about kindergarten is playing. My favorite thing about kindergarten is my teacher. My favorite part about kindergarten is when we have math, because math makes me smart and makes me be educational. And I love math because it's good and it makes you learn. It's fun when we get to play with our friends and we get to meet new kids. That they have the swings outside. I love going on the swings. Favorite part about school is recess. Lasagna is really good and the sloppy joe, and I mainly like the lasagna because it is really good and they make it really good, but they don't make it as good as my mom and dad's because they make it way better. My favorite things are the pancakes. My favorite food in the cafeteria is pizza. Tomatoes. Those breadsticks, they really are good. And like pears and they're good for you. My favorite food that the chef makes is spaghetti. My favorite food is the French fries. My favorite food is cheese pizza. My favorite thing to eat from the lunch is pizza. Really love the chicken and the orange chicken. It is so good. Do you think you eat the peaches and chocolate milk and pizza? Then you get to play, and in art you make, and you get to make good crafts. Favorite specials is art. PE because exercise. Art and music and STEM. In STEM, sometimes I get to do free play, and sometimes I make a snowflake. My favorite specials is PE because you get to run and you get to learn new things. Library. You buy them and you get to read them on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Music, we get to sing, and it's really fun. PE. There's different centers and you can move. STEM is my favorite because I get to play with Legos. Favorite part of PE is because we play basketball. STEM is my favorite class because I get to do crafts. And I have to go with library and gym. I would say don't be nervous. Just come on in and you'll have new friends. Teachers are really great and they're really kind. I also like about how their friendship can come and they can make new friends at school. I can tell them, hey, even though that's hard, I believe in that you can do it, and I can show you. Everyone that knew I could make friends with. The garden is fun. Will be your friend. Really fun, and you have too much fun for you won't miss your dad. They're funny and they help all of my friends and in my class learn. It was really nice to all of us. My favorite thing about my teacher is eating lunch with us. They help me when I read. She's fun. She teaches us new things. Some things we didn't get to know in preschool, she's teaching us, and she's really nice. When we fill up that thing for my ready, we get to do extra recess. Teach Spanish and Mrs. helps her with stuff and little language she teaches us. This community is really sweet. I love kindergarten. Here's the kinder. I love kindergarten. I love kindergarten. I love kindergarten. I love kindergarten. I love kindergarten.
So as you can see, we had a lot of fun talking to all the true experts of Henderson County Public Schools for kindergarten. You might have noticed in the background a book vending machine. The book vending machines are now in all 13 elementary schools. I think there's a lot of excitement about those. You could also see castle backgrounds. I think they're learning about kings and queens right now in kindergarten with the CKLA curriculum. So just a lot of fun stuff, and we had a lot of fun making that video as well. So kindergarten registration is now open as of February 1st. You can enroll online, and you'll find the banner on our website. You can't miss it, and we recommend families to register as soon as possible so that you are connected with your new school family, especially with all the readiness rallies coming up as well. And then we just included some pictures up there to begin with the end in mind. This is from our kindergarten t-shirt distribution this past fall. We had the class of 2025 with the class of 2037. So just a full circle moment. And actually that middle picture there, that's a little brother, and those are the big sisters, which I thought was pretty cool. That was fun. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, ladies.
And there are 255 now, 255, so it keeps going up.
Okay, now we are at our board member observations. Any board members have any observations you'd like to make?
I had one, and this kind of went along with what she was talking about with the book vending machines. I got to see the one at Edneyville, and we got to see how it worked, and it is very, very cool. I didn't realize we had those. They are a really great opportunity if you haven't seen them, if you don't know how they work, for students to make reading very exciting, give them opportunities for achievements and being able to be used, books as rewards and things, goals for them to have. They're full of stuff for all ages in elementary school, and I think the idea was just very, very cool, and I'm glad that we have them now. So if you haven't seen them, you should go check them out. They're very, very awesome.
So to expand on that just a minute, I'm glad you brought that up, Ms. Campbell. We had a community donor donate those as a result of Atkinson being in the Boys and Girls Club. So the Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County has two of those vending machines, one upstairs for the younger kids and one downstairs with the teen center. And our kids had the opportunity while they were there to participate and get some books, and they get to keep the books. So it's a way that they can build their home library. So that was so popular, and folks were bragging on it that the same vendor or the same donor decided to donate one to Atkinson. Well, then that moved into one for Atkinson and Bruce Drysdale. And then the Ruritans or Kiwanis decided to donate one to Edneyville. And then the donor came back and finished up. So all 13 of our elementary schools now have those in. So if you are a student in Henderson County Public Schools Elementary, you have a chance. So they use those again for rewards or birthday things or just different pieces. You get a token, it accepts a token, it talks to you, it's really loud. So we're trying to figure out maybe how to turn the volume down a little bit, but they have been really, really exciting. They got to pick the wrap. We put them out where folks can see them, and just a chance. And one of the kids made the comment the other day, oh, that's really neat that I get to get a book out and then I can bring it back. And we're like, no, you get to keep it. Oh, I get to keep it. So they were just super excited. So thank you for sharing that observation. I just thought I would provide a little more context.
Any other board members?
So I'll go since Miss Lindsay decided to stay. I will tell a story about her. This was back during COVID when some school board thought it would be a great idea to involve parents in homeschooling their children. And I happened to have a kindergartner who was now Miss Lindsay's in the library, but she was my foster daughter's kindergarten teacher. And it was in January when she was teaching about Martin Luther King, and she taught about I Had a Dream. And she's probably realizing the story I'm going to tell now, but she tasked all the children, and she would literally stand on her head if she had to keep kindergartners' attention. And she tasked them with drawing a story, or drawing a picture on what the story I Had a Dream was on, what they thought that it was like. And I'm there observing Brooklyn, who is drawing, and I'm not like quite sure the direction she's going in. And so Miss Lindsay was calling on kids to tell their story, and Brooklyn pipes up and she holds her picture up to the camera on the laptop, and she said, "I had a dream about zombies." And Miss Lindsay was like, "Okay, so we're talking about Martin Luther King. Who else has a picture about what Martin Luther King was dreaming about?" So just shout out to her, and what an amazing teacher she was, and what a joy it was as a parent to get that peek into her classroom on many of those days that I rather would not have, but she made it quite joyful.
Thank you. Any other board members? Let's now move along to our public comment. And first up, we have Mary Landry, and up after Mary will be Mr. Joe Elliott. Hi, Ms. Landry, welcome, and you have 3 minutes.
I won't take it all.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. My name is Mary Landry, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Henderson County. And as a member, I volunteer to observe your board members and write down everything you do and share it with the world. So it's fun. So I'm here quite a bit. I think you know and I know that the League has always been a very strong advocate of public schools. Most of our members have had children or grandchildren grow up in Henderson County Public Schools. We know how hard those teachers work. There's teachers and the staff to support our young people. And it is due, I think, to their patience, their kindness, and their professionalism that students thrive and grow to be successful adults. And so this month, the League has decided that we would sponsor a Teacher Appreciation Day. So on February 18th, we will deliver to each school and to each teacher a thank you and some candy to show them that we know that they are so important to our community and very important to our students. So we'll also encourage all families to thank a teacher, a bus driver, an SRO, a lunch lady or man, and the custodian because they're all part of the family, and we recognize that. They are the backbone of our Henderson County Public School family, as you are. So thank you, and we will thank them on February 18th.
Thank you, Mrs. Landry. Mr. Elliott, and up next will be Sheila Clendenning. Good afternoon.
According to Blue Ridge Now, Governor Stein requested $1 billion from the North Carolina General Assembly to help Western North Carolina recover from Helene. The legislature is now considering funding half of that request. The legislature's funding plan meets some of Stein's demands, but it does not include $34 million requested for impacted school districts to stem learning loss, $150 million in grants to businesses that sustained losses during the storm, or $100 million in revenue replacement from local governments. The first of the excluded requests is essential to getting our public schools out of the financial hole that has been exacerbated by the legislature's massive transfer of financial support to private religious schools through the voucher program. The second, $150 million, is for businesses hard hit by Helene. Henderson County is very dependent on our small businesses, including our farmers. These businesses draw tourists. Tourists generate tax dollars. Tax dollars are important to our county's commissioners to help them make decisions on the request from local financial support for schools. That process is happening now. The third funding request that is in jeopardy is the need to replace lost local government revenue caused by Helene. Henderson County is taking an ongoing hit to our business environment, even while we try to encourage tourists to return. The county commissioners have financial responsibility for the complex web of departments and projects that makes our lives here work. It seems unreasonable to expect our schools to be spared any needed belt tightening in this situation. So each of us needs to reach out to our three state legislators, Senator Tim Moffitt, Representatives Jennifer Balcom and Jake Johnson. They are our voice in Raleigh. We need the entire requested $1 billion. Write, call, message repeatedly. We need our school board to make a direct plea to Moffitt, Balcom, and Johnson. This is not the time for partisan politics. This is the time to stand together and do what is best for Henderson County, for our schools, for our teachers and staff, and most importantly, for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Sheila Clendenning, and then up next will be Joyce Marstella.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't be at your budget workshop today, but I've done a little bit of research and some calculations, and it looks to me that in 2024, including our child nutrition monies, the per pupil spending or per pupil allocations for Henderson County came from the General Assembly at 62%, County Commission at 23%, and federal at 15%. Does that about sound right? And we know that the largest chunk of those allocated funds come from the General Assembly, and we know that those funds, as Mr. Elliott just mentioned, are probably in jeopardy this year. Not only is there that very real need for the Helene recovery appropriations, but infuriatingly, we continue to see ever-expanding legislation to funnel our tax dollars to private schools through what they call opportunity vouchers or opportunity scholarships. And of course, who can possibly foresee the reliability of that 15% federal chunk in the future? In the past months, we have heard, and again we heard today, speakers who urge you to invite our county's three legislative members in Raleigh and ask them to explain to us their support for these vouchers and for their failure to legislate or to advocate legislatively for the release of the Leandro funding from so long ago. And I echo that suggestion. Please invite them. But I also trust that you, as individual board members, take every opportunity that you have to privately communicate with those folks, with all of our legislators at every level. I especially trust that you share our school's needs with the general voting public here in Henderson County. Please spread the message far and wide that we simply must adequately fund our public schools. Also, each month we hear of your, well, not each month, we didn't today, hear of your tours at our schools. May I suggest humbly that we also sometimes hear about your community outreach on the school's behalf? Henderson County voters, I fear, are, for the most part, not really aware of the intricacies of school funding, where the monies all come from. And who better than you, our now partisanly elected school board members, who better than you to share that information with our voters? We've got to let the public know that robust fiscal support is essential. I'm sure area civic clubs such as the Rotary and the Kiwanis and the HOAs always appreciate hearing from you, as well as from the people from the Henderson County Education Foundation and central office folks. I look forward, for example, to the February 25th League of Women Voters presentation by the Simone Wirtenberger, the ESL Migrant Director. Thank you.
Ms. Marcella, and then Carol Cannon.
Thank you so much for allowing this time for us to come to you. And I feel like I know you guys. I pray so much for you. And I ask God to protect you and to love on you and let you know how important you are to us and our community, because you're the head and you're the ones that really direct everything else. And so, see, I'm old. And I know you don't realize that. I don't look it. But I am older than I probably appear. Yeah. So I want to give you a timeline, an 80-year timeline. I'm going to start in 1944 and come until today. Now, I can't do that in 3 minutes. So the Lord said, okay, I want you to do it in segments, a series. 3-minute series is, and I ask, okay. See, when I come up here and talk to you, I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. I have a general overall, sort of, but not a, oh yeah, I got to say that. I don't know, I just don't. But so I'm up here talking to you about the things that I think are on his heart. And he cares about you. And he cares, he said, forsake not the little children to come unto me. Oh, how he loves the little children. But he has no grandchildren. He only has children. So I think that's really important. And back in the day, as you hear old people say, back in the day, I remember when. And I'm going to take you from that day when I was wild and free as a child, not as an adult. And I will show you how God worked in my life and how I am unique because I can talk to you from both sides of the fence. You see, I was considered special ed when I was growing up. We didn't have special ed, but if we did, I'd have been there, folks. And I probably would have won the plaque for being special ed. But whatever it is that the children went through who have special needs, I understand it. Been there, done that, probably have a t-shirt somewhere that tells about it. So I want you to go with me through this line and through this opportunity to see where we were and where we are. And I think we have so many things in this community to be proud of, humbly proud of our teachers. I think there's some wonderful, wonderful teachers. And I think there are things that we can do and have done that are outstanding. That's why you get so many wonderful things. And I will, to be continued.
Thank you, Mrs. Marcella. All right, Carol Cannon.
Good afternoon. How many of you remember when we celebrated George Washington's birthday on February 22nd? Raise your hand. And how many of you remember when we celebrated February 22nd? How many of you remember the story of Washington cutting down the cherry tree and then replying when asked, "Father, I can tell a lie. I did it." Y'all remember that story? How many of you know the source of that story? The source is Mason Locke Weems, commonly known as Parson Weems. And he recorded that incident in the biography, The Life of Washington the Great, published in 1806. And it quickly became a bestseller. However, that story is not historically true. In fact, Mount Vernon's website has a section entitled The Cherry Tree Myth. As early as 1889, Henry C. Lodge's biography of Washington said that many of the stories reported by Weems were, quote, on their face, hopelessly and ridiculously false. Weems told the story not as a matter of historical record, but as an example of how people should live. I tell that not to say that the cherry tree story is fanciful, but to illustrate that all history is written from the author's point of view. Weems was not concerned about the accuracy of the events that he recorded, but to make Washington an example to follow. And that's why it's important to have different life experiences reflected in the way that history is taught. This month, we celebrate Black History Month. It's a way to help Black children to see people like themselves making a difference in the history of our nation. It's also a way for white children to see that our country's leaders have included people of various backgrounds. Students learn the stories of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, Barack Obama and Martin Luther King Jr., Marian Anderson, Jackie Robinson, and many others. These persons demonstrated determination, courage, and standing up for others. They are powerful examples for Black, white, and brown children to follow. I cannot tell a lie. I support the celebration of the accomplishments of white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American men and women who have made our nation the strong, free land of democracy that it is. May it always be so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cannon. Okay, carrying on with our agenda, we are now to our consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda. So moved. Have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, consent agenda has been approved. Old business, there is none. So we are to new business and with Mr. Carl Taylor to talk about approval, reassignment tuition for out-of-county acceptances.
Thank you, Dr. Revison. Good afternoon, board members. This afternoon, I present to you a request to increase the tuition rate for our students who attend Henderson County Public Schools from outside of our county. This tuition rate is based off of the Henderson County local current expense per student. So it's what comes from the Henderson County local government to fund our schools, and then it's broken down to a per student rate. And so that rate then just matches for anyone who isn't a Henderson County resident. So for this current year, the rate is $2,410 for the school year, and so the request is to increase it by $170 to $2,580. Any questions?
Mr. Taylor, I think it'd be good for the public to know that that is also prorated if somebody joins us in the middle of the year, correct?
Yes, sir. So when students, we do have students who enroll in Henderson County Public Schools during the course of the year. That rate then is prorated based on how much time is left in the school year. And so again, if we're talking about, someone enrolls for the second semester, then that's half of the school year, so that rate then would be cut in half for the remainder of what's left of the school year.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor.
So, may I?
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Taylor, why the $170? How did we arrive at that number?
So for this current school year, when we look at the funding that comes from our local government, the rate that they have funded us this school year is at the rate of $2,580 per student. And so as we look to next year, we won't know what next year's rate is until we've already started the school year. And so we're always a year behind in the out-of-county tuition fee, matching what the local government has funded us per student. And so for this year, we charged $2,410 because that matched the previous year's funding that we received. And so it's just staying in line with what the tax dollars that are being funneled to our school system are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking it.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Taylor? Do I have a motion?
I move that the Henderson County Board of Public Education approve the increase of out-of-county tuition to $2,580 for the 25-26 school year.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed likewise? Thank you, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sosha?
Good to see you again.
You likewise.
I have a lot better news this time. What I have for you this afternoon is asking for approval to extend our contract with Blue Ridge Health for the cost of $92,000. It's a one-time fee that I'm going to give a little background on. So at the beginning of the school year, this year, we had 7 of our schools that did not have school-based therapy at the school. Throughout the year already, Blue Ridge Health has been able to whittle that down to just 4 schools. And then after the receipt of the hurricane relief funds that are dedicated to school mental health, we have these funds available, so it is state funds that will allow us to contract with them, and with that, they'll be able to hire a couple more people and get them trained so that they're able to offer these services. And like I said, it's a one-time thing, because once they start providing them, then they will be able to fund them on their own. And the best part is that now, starting March 1st, all of our schools are going to have at least 2 days at the school to provide these services. And I just want to point out that Shannon Otten has been working with them, with Blue Ridge Health, and as well as with Crossnor, and they have collaborated together. The 3 of them have gotten together and worked out the schedule so that based on the needs that are out there, that we have 2, 3, up to 5 days at the schools that need them. So this is, like I said, this is much better news than what I had before. But I also entertain any questions that you have about this addition.
So my question is about Summit Wellness. I know we have an MOA with them right now at Rugby, is that correct? And they have been at East. Where would they factor? Is it possible that they factor in here in any way?
We basically put something out there saying what we need, and whoever responds to it, we entertain what they have to offer. They give us a proposal. And the 2 that were able to continue with us were Crossnor and Blue Ridge Health. And so Crossnor covers currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our schools. And we have a contract with them, and basically sitting down with Crossnor and Blue Ridge, and to try to get all of our schools covered. Crossnor said this is basically where we can stay, is with, covering this amount of days. And so Blue Ridge said we could pick up the rest. So we have MOAs with several different mental health agencies that are able to come in and help our kids. However, the MOUs where we're exchanging money goes to these 2 because they responded back with, I don't know the terms, but they responded back with their proposal, and then we accepted those 2, Blue Ridge Health and
Who are the others, may I ask? Is that possible?
That we have MOAs with?
Yes.
So we have several.
Okay, okay, well, you don't have to go through the list.
I
I
will
just,
get you
I
a
just,
list of those, but
thank
we do
you.
have several coming into our schools and helping our kids.
So, Ms. Dell, this wouldn't preclude that. So if they're already engaged with counseling services and that MOA is in place, they're able to still come into the schools
Okay.
and continue to meet with those students.
Are they by request?
So some of them are done with their parents, and their parents take them somewhere, and then they just come and serve them at the school on certain days. Some of them are just come into our schools and say, you know, we'd like to help at these schools on these days. Will you be able to give us some referrals? And we say absolutely. And so we check with the parents. So they're working basically, essentially, it's the same as we're doing with Blue Ridge Health and Crossnor. It's just that there's money exchanged with Crossnor and Blue Ridge Health in the past with the other school-based health centers, but since they've expanded onto additional schools and given us more coverage to cover the rest of our schools, that's where this one-time lump sum of 92 is coming from.
Quick question. So is this is for additional people, correct?
It's 2 additional people.
2 additional.
And they'll do approximately 2.5 days at each school. It might be 2 at one, depending on the need at the school. And the list of referrals we have, it'll be 2 at one school, 2 at one school, and 3 days at another school.
So how many total do we have, including these 2? Does that bring us to?
How many total people?
Yes.
So for Crossnor, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4 people serving 2 days at each of the schools that they cover. And for Blue Ridge Health, it's several, but let's see, 1, 2, 3. 10, I believe.
In total?
Yes.
Okay, so we still don't have all of our schools covered.
No, all of our schools are covered, but it's somewhere between.
Yeah.
It's 10 people, so some are 2 days at one school, 3 days at another school, some are all 5 days, depending on need. But yeah, all of our schools will be covered.
Will they be given specific schools that will be their schools through the whole year, so they're not having to go to every school and get different people at different ones, different times?
And that's in that should be attached in the board document as well.
It's in the bottom of the slide.
Yep. And to your point, Ms. Campbell, one of the things that Shannon's doing is, like I said, she met with them, and she's going to monthly meet with each of them individually, and then quarterly, the 3 of them are going to get back together again and continue to monitor the needs at each school. So sustainability-wise, they'll know where the needs are, and they can shift as appropriate.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Entertain a motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? Motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Alton. And Mr. Sosha.
It was her. You had it right.
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
Okay. Now we're back to talking about summer testing program. Dr. Marlowe.
Yes, so one thing about this plan, this is not necessarily the plan for summer school, summer learning, because it has to extend past the summer learning dates. We don't know which kids are going to be there on what days, especially in high school when they've got different programming going on. So this actually expands it just a little bit, but it does coordinate with that. And we're actually finalizing that schedule, hopefully finalizing with principals tomorrow in their meeting. So we have a draft to take to them. But this is specific, and Ms. Henderson, our testing coordinator, has to submit this to the state. So we have to make sure that they are aware what grades we're testing and when we are testing them during summer programming. And this is specifically for the Read to Achieve test that happens after 3rd grade EOG for students that might need that as a pathway, and also for second administration. So in high school, it might look like that second administration and credit recovery time. Elementary and middle school will do remediation and second administration of tests. And then also it includes the Read to Achieve, but in Read to Achieve, which is second and third grade, only third grade would be taking that test. You'll also notice down in the section that says grades and subjects offered, you might notice that science is missing. So there's no biology, there's no fifth grade science, no middle school science. This is a norming year for that. So this is the first year, it's the implementation year with the new standards. So that testing will not happen, or the testing reports will not happen because they will be norming those this year. But basically, this gives you the information about when we expect to have testing provided for our students during the summer learning programming. And we just need your approval if you would give that to us, and then we can submit it to the state.
Any questions for Dr. Marlowe?
So is this essentially the same thing we've done every year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Henderson County Board of Education approve the 2024-25 summer program testing plan.
Is there a second? Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor. Again.
All right, good afternoon again. For the capital update this month, starting with the one significant project that we have going on within the school system, which continues to be the bleacher replacements and the auxiliary gyms at East Henderson and West Henderson. Tonight, I have for you the pictures that actually show you the difference in how those gyms look, that the 1960 wooden bleachers have been removed and replaced with more current looking bleachers. And so here are a couple of pictures at East Henderson. And so just definitely an improvement from a safety standpoint, but then also just from the looks inside of that gym. And they're green. And then at West Henderson, and we got blue. So fortunately, they put the right bleachers in at the right schools for us. Otherwise, we'd have some other conversations going on tonight. But definitely looks good. They're having to do some finishing touches in terms of the electrical work, so that's kind of delayed some things over the course of the last couple of weeks. But the installer has done a great job of communicating with us and what they're doing to resolve those issues. And so look forward to that project being complete. And hopefully next month, whenever I stand up here, I can tell you that they are completely finished and have been inspected and fully operational. From the MRTS side, we continue to make progress at West Henderson with the addition and security enhancements that are taking place with that project. So just some updated pictures there for you in terms of Area A, which is out front, the new front entrance and front office area. Outside, really the change out there is the grounds that they've put the sod down to really dress that up. So now at this point really looks like a finished product on the outside. On the inside, what's left in Area A is really just the ceiling grid and ceiling tiles to be installed and the flooring as well as the casework there at the front desk. And so that's the work that will be going on this month to finish up Area A. As we move to Area B in the back that's connecting X building to the back side of the gymnasium. Again, really we're to the same point there. The HVAC work was completed a few weeks ago to connect the duct work in Area A and in Area B, to connect the duct work to our current HVAC system. And so that work has been finished. So really Area B is the same thing in terms of the flooring being finished and the ceiling and ceiling grid and tiles to be installed this month. Here, a couple pictures. Again, there are 4 single-user restrooms in this area, and so the toilet and sink have been installed in each of those, and so ready for the flooring to be finished there. And then the other picture is a large storage area or custodial closet that was built inside of that space as well to provide that much-needed storage. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. They're gridded off. It's still one row. But yes, whereas it's, some of our bleachers, it's just one continuous, but this does have markings that show you kind of where each individual person would be seated. I'll get back there. Mm. Yeah. Mhm. Yes. Any other questions?
It all looks great.
Getting there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sosha, again with financial statements.
All righty. Okay, got two of them for you this evening. We have the local current expense and other restricted funds, and that's going to be through January 31st. Our revenues for the year now are $26,558,000, and our expenditures at $22,667,000. We are certainly on track on the revenue side, because as we get that 1/10 from the county, as we talked about earlier today, and our expenditures just at about 53%. So we're actually still within the estimate for the year. And that does even include the amount that we have paid out a little bit for the Hurricane Helene damages that we received. Primarily, that was the flooring over at Atkinson. That part we did pay out. And as far as on our enterprise funds, those are a little bit behind. This is through December 31st. So child nutrition through the second quarter, revenues were $3,828,000, and our expenditures are at $4,322,000. Again, that has been impacted by Helene, and really the shortfall in that budget has been the revenue side is behind where we would have liked it to have been at this point in the year. A little bit from the USDA. Actually, they're a month behind on getting us our money, so that'll make that picture look a lot better than it does. And then the local sales are a little bit below that as well. On the child care side through second quarter, revenues are $565,000 and our expenditures at $720,000. That does include that $155,000 deficit for the year does include $52,000 that was from last year's grant money for the playgrounds, as well as a little bit of the loss from the timing of the Hurricane Helene, because we did not get any money to make them whole for that time that we were short. And again, participation is a little bit lower than anticipated, so the tuition dollar is not at the 50% mark like we would have thought it would have been.
Do we have money in fund balance for both of those?
Yes, both of them, we had budgeted fund balance for the year, which we're still within that amount, and they both have about $1.5 million additional dollars beyond that.
Okay.
They can cover it. We are, in both sides, but especially on the child care side, we are, going to be looking at rates for next year as well as the staffing to make sure that the staffing is going to meet the enrollment, that we're not overstaffed, so we have that imbalance anymore.
Yeah, they can't sustain that kind of
Exactly.
loss. Neither program.
Right.
Any more questions for Mr. Sosha? Thank you.
Thanks.
General Operations, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to share a little summary of the things we've got going on. Of course, it is Black History Month, Love the Bus Month, and Career and Technical Education Month. All three of those things super important as we celebrate February. As you saw your presentation, kindergarten registration is now open for the 2025-2026 school year, and that is, once again, the class of 2038. I like to take that opportunity to remind everybody the class of 2038 is who's entering with us in the fall. Required teacher work day for traditional and early college calendar is coming up on February the 14th. What better way to spend your Valentine's Day than doing PD, right? I know that's what people are excited about. But this is one that allows us to catch up because we lost one during the Helene days. So we do have plenty of stuff to take care of on that day. School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. We appreciate all our school resource officers. We have wonderful partnerships with both the Henderson County Sheriff's Office and the Hendersonville Police Department. Cannot say enough about the coverage that you have here in this district and just the blessing that they are. February 20th is Superintendent Teacher Advisory Council and the Superintendent Parent Advisory Council. They meet with me on 3:30 and 5:30 respectively. March is Arts in Our Schools Month. Arts is a big part of what we do here in Henderson County Public Schools, and we are going to celebrate those in March. March 2nd to 6th is Read Across America Week. If you are looking for an opportunity to get inside a classroom and read to some kids, they will give you plenty of opportunities during Read Across America Week. It's also National School Social Worker Week, the 2nd through the 8th as well. March 3rd through the 7th is National School Breakfast Week. You do provide universal breakfast to all of the students. We hope that they're taking advantage of that. I know that that is one of the highlights of my son's morning each and every day, as he talks about, it's fine, I didn't eat this morning, I'm going to eat at school. I think sometimes he's eating twice, which I don't blame him for that either. On March the 5th will be our next round of school board tours, where we will go to Rugby, Hillendale, and Etowah. A regular meeting for March is on the 10th here at 4 o'clock. A required teacher work day for the flex calendar is also March the 10th. That is the district PD day for those flex calendar teachers. And their intercession begins, which is their way of saying they're going to make fun of everybody else because they'll be on spring break ahead. Optional teacher work day for flex calendar is on the 11th. The 14th is optional teacher work day for traditional calendar. That's no school for students. That'll be at the end of the third quarter for us, third 9 weeks. And then the 17th through the 21st is spring break for all students and staff. A couple other quick items I thought I would mention. Phone call went out last week, early last week, about the Power School cybersecurity incident. Wanted to make sure that people were clear that we do have a banner up on our website that has all of that information. And if you have a student or if you were ever a teacher in this district from 2013 to present, that you need to be on the lookout for some communication from Power School about how you can opt in to protect your personal identity and personal identification information. That is something that was a breach that was national. It is not just North Carolina Power School, it's multiple states who are wrapped up into that.
How will that come? That
will come via email, and we have also made it, it comes in the email that you have put into Power School. So whatever your parent contact is that you have for your students in Power School. This is, again, not just Henderson County, it's the entire state. That is the student information management system that we are required to use. And so that communication will go there. So make sure you're checking your emails. If you're in my wife's situation, she will be checking for 4 different districts now, or I will be checking for 4 different districts since 2013. She'll be checking for 3. So just make sure that those communications, and also it's a great reminder on our Power School system to make sure you've got the latest information. So anytime your number changes or your contact information, that way, that's how we will get in touch with you. Again, this is something that is on Power School to notify everybody, but we're trying to facilitate as much as we can, so folks will be on the lookout. Second thing is, I know that some communities have been asking, and some folks in the communities have asked about ICE enforcement actions and support for families. Just wanted to make sure that folks understand that the requirements to attend Henderson County Public Schools have not changed. Our interaction with law enforcement has not changed. We do work closely with our law enforcement partners, local law enforcement partners. I had a chance to speak with Sheriff Griffin as well, where he talked about he didn't anticipate anything really changing for us. So I know that they have some interactions with ICE sometimes once they actually have someone in custody. We do not know of any situations where ICE has been in our community. We do not know of any situations where ICE has gone onto a school campus. So we have provided guidance with Campbell Shatley's advisor on what our principals are dutifully bound to do regarding if any law enforcement officer comes on campus or any request for information comes and the things that are required there. And then also we have a document that we've shared with everyone about how we can support our families. The number one thing for us is what I love about Henderson County Public Schools. You're required to tell us prove how old you are and where you live. Other than that, we're going to educate you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to keep you safe. And we're going to make sure you're learning. That has not changed and will not change. So just those 2 things I felt like might be good for the public to hear. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. It's mrgarrett@hcpsnc.org. And that's my update. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, we are to the adjourning part of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Nays? We are adjourned. Thank you, guys, for your commitment today to sit through.